Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular council meeting of April the 23rd, 2019. I am calling the meeting to order and asking if there are any late items to include on the agenda.
Yes, there's one suggested late item, which would be a delegation regarding an application to the BCAA Play Here contest, and it would be Kimberly Burns presenting.
Thank you. May I have someone on council bring forward the agenda as amended, please? Councillor Barkwell, Councillor Van Elfen, all those in favor? Great. Okay, adoption of the minutes for the special council meeting March the 18th and the special council meeting of April the 1st. Councillor Van Elfen?
So moved, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Carlson. All those in favor? Great, thank you. On to delegations. Kimberly Burns, I welcome you to the podium.
Thank you. Let me just find my stool here. Good evening, Madam Mayor and councillors. Thank you for accepting my delegation request and short notice approval to speak tonight. As mentioned by Madam Mayor, my name is Kimberly Burns and I live at 18014 Garnet Valley Road. I am here as a Summerland resident, as a mom, and as co-chair of a very small group of volunteers working to coordinate an entry into the BCAA Play Here contest. The spirit of the contest is to award prizes to not-for-profit groups in BC for the purpose of creating or revitalizing existing play spaces. The contest closes April 28th, at which point BCAA will select semi-finalists. The list of semi-finalists will then be published on mainstream and social media, and winners are selected through public voting. There are 3 prizes of $100,000 each, plus 3 runner-up prizes, $30,000, $20,000, and $10,000 respectively. As the unofficial heart of outdoor recreation and community events here in Summerland, we have identified Memorial Park as the park which we would most like to improve. Given that the District of Summerland has begun the process of making improvements to the playground itself already, and specifically the wooden structure at Memorial Park, our goal would be to add complementary additional equipment and features to further enhance the safety of the park and to expand its appeal to children in an even broader range of ages and abilities. Some features and equipment that we feel would be worth considering would be additional swings, possibly including an accessible swing, playground equipment designed for toddlers ages 1 to 3, maybe a children's bike path and bike rack, covered picnic area or gazebo, or perhaps modifications to landscape aimed at reducing the screening effect that the existing trees and brush have, which harbor trash and so on. Based on the contest rules, we would not qualify to enter the contest as private citizens, and so we have gratefully garnered the support of the Rotary Group in order to submit an entry under their name. My group will be doing the legwork to assemble an entry based on early input from the community, as well as from the Rotary Group and from information provided by the district. Thank you, Lori. In terms of financial logistics, if our entry were selected as a winner, the intention would be for the Rotary Group to accept the funds on behalf of our volunteer group and for the funds to be used to upgrade the play area at Memorial Park. We would then like to work collaboratively with the District of Summerland in order to complete a design and then come back to the district for final approval before proceeding. Finally, as the park is owned by the District of Summerland, the improvements would effectively be donated to the district. I'm here to request a letter of support and principle for our entry, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Kimberly.
Of course.
Questions of council for Ms. Burns? Councillor Carlson.
Thank you, that's very exciting. My question, I think, would be the idea and the proposal for what would be built would be something that complements the current swings and the small play space for kids 2 to 5, and then everything else that would be added, whether it's paid for by the district or paid for by a grant, would be part of a larger plan. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yes, we would like to work collaboratively with the district to make sure that any improvements we were aiming at doing would be cohesive, and we're not looking to to copy what the district already has intention of doing. We would like to add in additional features to enhance the safety and the accessibility of the playground. So whether that is additional equipment, slides, swings, landscape features, as I mentioned, it is meant to be collaborative and to be complementary to the equipment that is there and that will be coming in if the district proceeds with the playground replacement as proposed.
And just one more question then. If you're successful in this, do you know when money would be awarded?
I don't actually. I would have to get back to you with a date.
There's no rush. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have questions?
Yeah. If anybody has a moment here, I'd like to invite Linda Van Alphen to express the support of the Rotary on my behalf.
So one of the hats I wear is I sit on the executive for Rotary as Youth Services, and today there was a mad scramble amongst the executive to approve this and to approve our participation with Kimberly and her group for this proposal. So I just want to make sure that council knows that we're on board and that we're ready to provide the support.
Thank you, Linda. Any other questions? All right, I just have one question.
Sure.
So what you need from us, and probably Ms. Mullen already knows this, is you're looking for a letter of support from the district?
Yes, please.
And does that go to your group, or does it go to Rotary?
It would be addressed to the Rotary because the entry will go in under the name of the Rotary.
Yes.
I would imagine our group probably will list it as a secondary contact on the application.
Okay.
So perhaps we could be carbon copied in the letter as it's
absolutely.
addressed. And we are very grateful both for the opportunity to speak here on short notice and to the Rotary for their short notice support. We only just learned about this contest ourselves last week, so it's been a mad rush.
Well, good for you.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. And thank you to the Rotary, too, for stepping up. Once again. Okay, could I have somebody bring this forward for, bring a motion forward, sorry, to be received and for the drafting of the letter. Councillor Van Alphen?
So moved, Madam Mayor.
And seconded by Councillor Carlson. All in favor? Excellent. So that's approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Burns. Okay. Now we have 15 minutes in our opportunity for public comment on any of the items that you see on either of the monitors there. If you would like to speak, all you have to do is come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and then begin speaking. Is there anyone? Oh, thank you, Paul.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and councillors and staff and fellow Summerlanders. My name is Paul Barber. I live at 5019 Two Good Place, and I'm a proud member of the Rotary Club of Summerland. And we are later on the agenda concerning the Sunday market. And so I would like to announce, first of all, that unfortunately we've lost our manager, Laurel Burnham, who was gravely ill and unfortunately has had to go to hospice for care. And we're very, very sad for her. And she wishes us well with the market going forward. I've seen her 4 times in the last couple of weeks, and it is really sad to see such a vivacious lady having to go through what she has to dealing with her cancer. But we've had to replace her, and we feel very fortunate, and I'd like to introduce our new manager. You may have read about her in the paper, and that's Linda Van Alphen. She is a Rotarian, and we think that Linda is going to do a fabulous job for us as the manager, and you'll see a lot of her at the market this year. We're on the agenda later because we've asked for some consideration of changing the format of the market in terms of its location. We're currently, in the past 4 years, we've taken up the 2 westerly blocks of Main Street, and we've been approached by merchants on North Victoria between the Beanery and the post office area. They would like to become a part of the market. They have quite a few merchants who were wanting to be open on Sunday and take advantage of all the crowds. And so I would like to introduce Rock Fortan, who's representing these merchants. He's a merchant himself in that area, explaining why the merchants would like us to change from from 2 blocks on Main Street just to 1, and then replace the one lost with a block on North Victoria. Rock?
Yeah, we, as you noticed, Victoria, it's a lot more retail space have opened up. The artisan, the collectible, the gold shop, the hemp shop, the beads, carrying the beads, the bead trails. But all those shops I've indicated, including the beanery, they would be more than happy to support the opening of Victoria, part of Victoria. Also, we allow some of the food truck, whatever, to be parked further down towards the post office, which would alleviate some of the issues. I think it's just great for the business community. I think we have to showcase all the retail spot. Down the second block down Main Street, unfortunately, there's no retail. Like, everything is closed on Sunday, and therefore, we just want to give an opportunity to all the merchant on Victoria to showcase all their product and make sure the crowd are aware there's some very vibrant retail area that encourage the tourists to shop in Summerland.
Thank you.
Any questions at all?
I don't think that we will take questions now. It is later on the agenda, so we will be asking questions at that time. Thank you.
Good evening, Council. My name is Janet Peak. I'm at 13396 Florence. And this evening, I'd just like to speak to item 11.7, Cali Avenue Road improvements at Wharton Street. And I make note of the fact that in the report, it's recommending sidewalk on the east side of Kelly, and I'm wondering, which I understand would be the side that the apartment building is going to be located at, and I wonder if there might be any opportunity for a sidewalk on the park side to be considered as well. So I just put forward that as an idea. Thank you very kindly.
Thank you, Janet. Okay. We will move on. Next up is item 7, my mayor's report. First of all, I hope everyone had a relaxing and enjoyable Easter weekend. I'd like to start by congratulating Summerland resident Jacqueline Mancier, who won the School District 67 Science Fair with her project providing evidence that sound causes stress. Ms. Mancier will travel to Fredericton next month to compete in the National Science Fair, and on behalf of Council, I'd like to wish Jacqueline all the best. On Friday, April the 12th, I attended 2 announcements made by Minister of Health Adrian Dix. The first was about the resources being put into a primary care network in Penticton and the Martin Street Clinic, and the second was the official opening of the David E. Campy Patient Care Tower in Penticton at the Regional Hospital. Mr. Campy was on hand for the celebration, and as I'm sure everyone here knows, he is an amazing philanthropist. On Tuesday evening, I attended a presentation at Center Stage organized by School District 67 and the Summerland Healthy Community Initiative. Cannabis use can cause significant negative health impacts when used by youth up to age 25 because their brains are not fully developed before that time. Although thoughts on the medicinal health benefits of cannabis differed between the 5 speakers, they all agreed about the dangers of vaping and cannabis use before the age of 25. So that was pretty eye-opening. It was well attended. On Wednesday, April the 24th, I and 3 councillors attended the Eneas Creek update here in the council chambers, organized by the district staff. There were 3 Forest Lands Natural Resource Operations and Rural Development staff attending, as well as an associated engineering representative that developed the Eneas Creek assessment. 5 district staff participated in the presentation and the question and answer session that followed. If you would like to read the Ineas Creek assessment, it's more than 70 pages long. It is on the district website, or contact the district for more on your specific property. Please note that due to significant flood damage on the Peach Orchard Trail in 2018, and the threat of trees shifting or falling as the snowpack melts and the creek rises again, the district has closed the trail due to public safety concerns. At Thursday's RDOS meeting, Councillor Holmes and I enjoyed an excellent presentation by 3 members of the Agricultural Land Commission on the latest amendments to the ALC Act. Generally, the Commission is tightening the Act to increase protection for land in the Agricultural Land Reserve. We also had a presentation. Well, actually, we had the presentation earlier in draft format, but we were each presented with this Homeowners Resource Guide, Building Climate Resilience in the Okanagan, and it talks about water, protecting your homes from fire, food security, all kinds of things that are related to resilience in the Okanagan, xeriscaping, and there is a lot of information there that provides the Silk Okanagan Nation perspective as well. This can be downloaded from the South Okanagan Real Estate Board website and also from the RDOS website. This morning, the district received one of just 50 bottles of maple rock syrup made from maple trees located in Summerland. Thank you, Rock Fortin. Do it, Rock Fortin. And I am pleased to let you know that the suggestion came forward. I told you this morning it was going to be preserved forever. Well, I lied. The suggestion this morning came forward from a staff member that we use this at our health and safety breakfast that we have for the whole district, including council. And so that's what we'll be doing on May the 8th. Most of next week will be spent at our local government association convention being held in Penticton this year. It is an excellent opportunity to network, learn, and vote on resolutions that are submitted by membership. Sessions this year include responding to wildfire and flood risks, the provincial active transportation strategy, land readiness for investment, engaging youth in local government, and effective communication with First Nations neighbors, just to name a few. I especially enjoy the education sessions and keynote speakers because there's always more to learn. Thank you very much. Acting CIO, do you have a report?
No, Madam Mayor, I do not.
All right, I took up all your time anyways. Okay. We're now on to item 10, the first business item of the evening. 10.1, the official community plan bylaw amendment at 13415 Lakeshore Drive and the zoning bylaw amendment. This is the these are the amendments that we spoke to at the public hearing earlier this evening. I will pass this over to our Manager of Planning, David Patey.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Unless Council has any other questions, I have nothing further to add with respect to the application for final.
Okay. I just want to make sure that Council had the chance to go through the correspondence that we had. Okay, great. Any other questions of our manager? Councillor Barkwell.
Yes. I was a little curious about a couple of things. On the development, as being that it's terraced, does that mean like the bottom units are much larger than the top units, or is it there's something behind there?
Madam Mayor, if I can answer that good question. I'll show you up on the screen, you can see in the cross-section of the building, the units are all terraced, but they're all about the same size, except for the penthouse units, which I believe are a little bit larger. A lot of that space in behind those units is actually void space. There's really nothing in that portion of the building other than parking only on the first story, and that's parking for the entire building.
Right. I didn't expect void space, but...
Okay, Councillor Carlson?
There's been a couple of pieces of correspondence that are concerning the height of this development, and just a quote from one of them is that, "We are for development, but feel the current height of the lakefront resort should be a height ceiling for this and future development in the area." I'm wondering if you can restate how this development, what the height of this is from the street compared to the waterfront resort, please.
Madam Mayor, I'll try to answer that question. It's my understanding that the waterfront resort is 18.5 meters in height. Now, the way we measure height in the District of Summerland is we take the points at finish grade, the exterior points at finish grade, and measure, and we take the lowest 2 points of a wall face at finish grade and measure to the top of the building. Now, the resort, so I can't answer the question as to how we measured that specific building, but I do know that the total height of that building is 18.5 meters. Now, this building is 23 meters, and we would measure that in the case of this building, and I'll point to it in the screen, we would likely measure that from the rear 2 points, and I'll try to put the laser pointer up, from this point to the highest point of the building, of the roof structure of the top part of the building. That would likely be the measurement from this grade. Now, if you look over to the right-hand side of the image, you can see that that portion is approximately 1 story below the grade of the street. So, although I can't answer the question about specifically how the previous development of the Summerland Resort was measured, I do know that we would measure this likely in that way, and that will come out of any building permit submission, and will be discussed further in the development permit application.
Thank you.
Can I follow that?
Sure.
Just to follow that, a question was also asked about other structures that might end up being on the top floor, on the roof of the penthouse or the top suites, and I'm wondering if there's been consideration for whether, those smaller, it looks like there's roofed areas, if that's included in that height or if that's extra.
I believe we're talking about these small little...
Yeah, they're almost like little gazebos.
Right. Madam Mayor, as part of any submission, if the application to rezone the property is successful and the maximum height is 23 meters, the way we measure is to the top of any roof structures. Any proposed structures on top of the portion that you can see here in the image would be counted into height and wouldn't be permitted as part of the building permit application. So this application, again, is rezoning, so it's conceptual in nature.
Right.
And when we get to the building permit submission or the development permit submission, it's at that point where we apply a very critical lens on the things which will be included in the total scope of the constructed project.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Councillor Patton.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. If I may, to our Director of Operations. We've had a few concerns in regards to Sully Road and construction traffic. Is there any thoughts that we could look at that composite traffic calming could be put on the road to, in case there was traffic there, the composite speed bumps? Is there any thoughts that we could do to maybe alleviate some, if there was going to be any traffic that was going to go down Sully?
I guess, just to answer that first, I don't anticipate construction traffic would choose Sully Road as its access to and from the site. With Lakeshore accessing the highway, even though you have to go through Lower Town, you could also go the other way to Peach Orchard, which provides a better access to and from the highway. So we would strongly recommend that Sully isn't used for hauling materials and equipment to and from the site, but we would be working with the developer and their construction crews to make sure that any of those concerns were accommodated.
Excellent, thank you. One more?
Sure.
Thank you. To the Manager of Planning. I know we talked last meeting that the the commercial component was going to have one story of residential with maybe going to another 2 levels. Is that off the table now, or is it going to, this will be our final project, or our final product?
Madam Mayor, at the moment, I guess that's off the table, essentially. The proposal that we have is what we'll be moving forward with in the development permit. So that will be one single story above the commercial grade. If they proposed to construct at some future date an additional 2 stories on the top of that building, it would require an amendment to the development permit in order to allow that use. And council would have that opportunity to review the application at that time.
Excellent, thank you.
Councillor Barquin?
If I remember correctly, the plan called for 11 commercial spaces on the bottom floor of that building, correct? Now, I don't know how easily they'll find occupiers of 11 commercial spaces, but that's not really our concern. Is the option there if, say, somebody wanted a larger, like would, you know, a restaurant or something could take 3 or 4 of those spaces and do whatever they wanted with them, change walls and stuff?
Madam Mayor, that is entirely possible, and we anticipate something like that would happen, as we see with drugstores, restaurants, those types of uses that may want to occupy a much larger space. They could combine 1, 2, 3, or 4 of the units to create a larger space.
So really, we should just be thinking about the total commercial area available, yeah.
Correct.
Councillor Holmes and Councillor Van Elfen, and before you begin, Councillor Holmes, I just want to remind council that what's before us are 2 amendments, OCP and rezoning. So those are the things that we should be speaking to. Thank you.
Okay, I just wanted to go back to about the construction phase. And the trucks on Sully, we under what's there now, the temporary use permit, we didn't allow those trucks to use Sully, and as far as I know, they never have. So why would we just expect that they wouldn't? Why wouldn't we just have a ban of trucks on Sully? Is that an option at any point?
Yeah, I don't know about a ban, but you have a collector loop that goes from Peach Orchard to Lakeshore out to the highway on either end, so I don't foresee the use of Sully being all the way down to Lakeshore from the highway as being the route that they would, one, choose to use, and then we would, like I said, encourage them. And we could look into ways, if there was ways to restrict the use of Sully for them, but there's 2 other accesses that are much better that we would have them use.
Yeah, may I follow up? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you and I would agree on that, but somebody in a truck might decide this is the fastest way. So.
Right, so for things like earthworks permits or working within our roadway permits, we can add those conditions. I'm not sure about for the building permit with the construction on site, if there would be an opportunity to add those conditions, but there could be as well, and we would use those mechanisms to ensure that happened.
Okay, and just to follow up?
Okay.
Yeah, and do we have any idea how long a construction period something like this might be? It's not as if we have a lot of these kind of developments in summer, so we don't have much to gauge it by. 18 months?
Madam Mayor, I believe it would be between 15 and 18 months.
Thank you.
Or somewhere thereabouts, depending on the sequencing of the construction and managing sort of movement of materials and construction processes on site as it relates to the first buildings and the second building, and being able to coordinate that from a start to finish perspective.
And that's facilitated by them all being done in one phase, right? Yeah, it's a coordination, right? Okay. Any other questions of Mr. Patey? Councillor Holmes?
Yeah, and just to confirm something that came up in the public hearing, that small lot that's kind of wedged in between the development and the Rackets Club, it's not included in part of this development, I believe it. Is that correct?
Madam Mayor, that's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, could I ask someone to bring forward the resolution, please, that this be read a third time? Councillor Van Alphen?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. That the official community plan amendment 13415 Lakeshore Drive bylaw number 2019-019 be read a third time. And that zoning bylaw amendment 13415 Lakeshore Drive bylaw number 2019-021 be read a third time.
Thank you. Seconder? Councillor Patton? Any further discussion? Councillor Barkwell?
Yes, I know that council can't, at this point in time, enforce anything or insist on anything, but I hope that the developers heard the presentation from the Rackets Club, and I think it would, everybody would benefit, both the developers and the Rackets Club and the community, if they work together on landscaping and maybe some improvements. I think the Racket Club's a bit, right there is a big selling point for the project, and everybody can benefit.
Yes, I had some assurances that they would like to work together. Councillor Van Alphen?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I know it was said earlier in our public hearing how many years and years and years of the different proposals for this site, and nothing's ever came to fruition. And this is exciting, and I think it's very exciting also for our construction companies, suppliers in our community, rental centers, aggregate sales, concrete suppliers. I mean, there's a massive spin-off to a development of this size, and I'm hoping that our applicants will have some conversations with local suppliers in the future, and yeah, we're excited. I'm excited, sorry.
Excellent. Okay, I will call the question. All those in favor? And any opposed? None, so that is carried. Thank you. And then we'll look at 10.2 and 10.3 separately, of course. Zoning bylaw amendment 919 Wharf Street, bylaw number 2019-014 to be adopted. Could I have someone, Councillor Carlson?
I'll move that motion.
Thank you, and Councillor Holmes has seconded. All those in favor? Approved. Zoning bylaw amendment 8323 Purvis Road, bylaw number 2019-015, also for adoption.
So moved, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Van Alphen and Councillor Holmes, all in favor? Approved. On to 10.4, tax rates 2019, bylaw number 2019-013. Over to our acting CAO, who's also our Director of Finance.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. At the April 15th Committee of the Whole meeting, Council discussed the proposed 2019 tax rates, as well as the different factors that need to be considered when these rates are calculated. The proposed rates have been calculated based on Council's direction of a 3.5% property tax increase, and it has been applied to all property classes. Furthermore, the rates have been prepared in accordance with the district's revenue policy, as well as the district's practice of maintaining a business to residential class ratio of 2.25 to 1. The net result to an average property that's assessed at $584,000 or $584,900 is $75.98. Now, this is slightly higher than the $74.22 increase that was presented at the Financial Open House on April 3rd. The reason for the increase is attributed to BC Assessment's overall process. The original amount was calculated based on the completed roll that the district had received back in November. Since that time, BC Assessment has gone through their appeals process, and the district's roll has been adjusted down by $3.6 million. So hence the slight overall increase per property. Property taxes this year will be due on July 5th. And just a reminder to all residents to ensure that they complete and file their homeowner grants. This is an annual process that needs to be done, and it must be done prior to the due date. or the provincial government will consider those late taxes and the 10% penalty will apply. Outside of that, the tax rates 2019 bylaw is now ready for first 3 readings. Thank you.
Thank you. So the first part of that, no, never mind, that was April 15th. Could I have someone bring forward the first and second motion for it to be introduced and read a first, second, and then a third time, please? And then we'll go to the third part of that resolution afterwards. Councillor Van Elfen?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. That tax rate 2019 bylaw number 2019-013 be introduced and read a first and second time. And that tax rate 2019 bylaw number 2019-013 be read a third time.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Carlson. All in favor? So that's first, second, and third reading. And then we have a special council meeting, and I'm proposing that it be scheduled for 10:45 on April the 25th to consider adoption of the tax rates 2019 bylaw.
I'm available.
10:45 on Thursday. Does that work for folks? We just need a quorum.
Just a clarification, that's okay, it doesn't have to be 48 hours notice?
It's 24 hours and 1 day.
I'm available.
Oh, okay, yeah, works for me.
So you're good. Councillor Barkwell?
Yeah, I have a meeting at 12. If it was 11:30, it would be kind of convenient for me. There's something on at the... Then we could go.
Are you available? 1, 2, 3. I think we have a quorum.
So you're available, I'm available, you're available. You are as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you can be excused then.
Okay.
You're available as well? Okay, perfect. So could I have someone bring forward the third part of that motion then with the 10:45 time and the date, please? Councillor Carlson.
That a special council meeting be scheduled for 10:45 a.m. on April 25th to consider adoption.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Van Elfen. All in favor? Perfect. Okay, on to item 11. I will pass the next two over to Development Services.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This next application is a development variance permit, DVP 19-007. It's for a property located in the Trout Creek area at 896 Johnson Street. This lot is within the residential medium lot zone. It has a lot area of 638.2 square meters, so it's a fairly standard lot size in this neighborhood and within this recently approved subdivision. The application is proposes to vary the maximum lot coverage permitted on the property. The maximum lot coverage for all structures on the building is 40%. Now, 40% of the 638.2 square meters is 255.28 square meters. They propose to vary it to 45.5 square meters to facilitate the construction of the single detached dwelling, as well as the installation of a swimming pool. The zoning bylaw, the RS D1 zone, allows up to 75% of the 40% lot coverage to be for accessory buildings and structures. Now, assuming both the accessory building in the rear of this building, and I'll show you the site plan, as well as the swimming pool, both fit within that 75 square meters of the maximum. However, because the swimming pool is considered a structure, when added to the single-family dwelling, together those two result in the 45.5% lot coverage. As stated in the report, generally lot coverage is intended to limit the amount of lot coverage to allow for on-site infiltration of water and to create sort of a form more appropriate for single-family dwellings. So while pools are considered a structure by the zoning, they are also considered permeable structures in accordance with our zoning bylaw. The applicant's rationale provided for this is that due to age and physical limitations, the single-level home is proposed on the lot, which results in the increase of lot coverage. And if you look at the site plan, you can see that the footprint of the home is consistent with other single-family dwellings recently developed within this neighborhood. And for that reason, staff support the application, the increase in lot coverage to 45.5% for this proposed lot.
Thank you. Any questions of David Patey? Councillor Carlson?
So I've read the report and I'm still a little bit, I think it's important that we ask the questions about the water table and stormwater management when deciding if it's appropriate to put such structures in that location. I'm just wondering if there's any, like, what happens if we get another big flood? Is that swimming pool going to crack? Is it like, what, is there a risk there that and should it be allowed in a low-lying area in general? I don't know if anyone knows the answer to that, but.
Madam Mayor, I don't have an answer for that. I know that.
I do have an answer.
I'm sorry, I cannot accept an answer from the gallery.
Sorry.
That's okay.
It will be required, Madam Mayor, as part of the building permit, that they meet our minimum basement flood elevation levels with respect to the lake. Whether or not inundation of a pool by water constitutes a risk is a questionable one.
So it would be similar to a basement then? You would have, right, is a concrete foundation around it, it's not.
Sir, my apologies. There is an opportunity for you to comment on this because it's a development variance permit. So if you would like to come to the podium and state your name and address. And again, I apologize for that.
No worries. My name is Benoit Construction. I'm a builder in Summerland here, and I represent my clients, Barbara and Henry Bald. Basically, the pool is a structure on its own because it's holding the water, pond water. But on its own, the water can sell itself. If the water table goes up, it's against the water itself too. In Summerland and Trout Creek, they're actually building pools as we speak regarding the water table. So I don't see this one would be such an issue too. Sorry.
No.
And we have a geotech to approve the construction of the pool, Paul Glenn from Glen Rock Geotech. So I think it's feasible. They do it all the time. In Trout Creek, there's actually, they have pool at the water table too. So I would like to bring more information if you wanted to. But right now, I'm just speaking as experienced builder. We install pool all the time at the water table, and if the water raise, there's water in the pool as well. So the water balances each other for the pressure. So the same thing it's not really a basement. The basement is empty, and the basement will actually flood it, or if it's sealed, like the requirement for the BC code, they seal the basement out, so it's becoming more like a ball, and it will raise up the house. But the pool is full of water, so balance each other with the pressure.
Makes sense to me. Thank you.
Did I answer your question?
Good, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Is there anybody else in the gallery that would care to comment on this application? No? Okay. So does that answer your question, Councillor Carlson? Okay. Councillor Patton?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. To our manager of planning, please. Concrete patios. Does the concrete, not being a permeable surface, become part of the lot coverage?
Madam Mayor, it doesn't. The lot coverage is essentially any structure that's placed on the property. You could essentially cover the entire property in concrete, and it wouldn't constitute lot coverage.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Barquin?
Yes, I noticed in the report some discussion about permeable surfaces and the swimming pool being classified as a permeable structure, and I do see there's some contradictions here. If you could cover the whole property in something impermeable, that is something that maybe you might want to look at as well. But the swimming pool I can see is being classified as permeable because if it rains, it's just going to fill up a little further. It's not going to flood other areas, which is the concern, right? It's like a neutral to the whole amount of of water you have to deal with. Yeah. Just a comment. Yeah.
All right. Councillor Carlson?
I will move a motion if there's no more questions.
Thank you.
I'll move that the development variance permit DVP 19-007 to increase the maximum lot coverage from 40% to 45.5% on property at 896 Johnson Street, legally described as Lot 26, District Lot 488, ODYD Plan EPP 57216, be approved.
Seconded by Councillor Barquin. Any further discussion on this matter? Okay, I'll call the question. All those in favor? And none opposed. That's approved. On to 11.2, development variance permit for 9504 Alder Street.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This next application as well is a development variance permit, DVP 19-008. This is for the property located at 9504 Alder Street. This property is approximately, it's exactly 3,045.5 square meters in area. It's a large industrial property, currently within the heavy industrial zone, which is the M2 zone. If anybody here is familiar with Ogopogo Meats, this is the location of that business in this on this property. The proposal from the applicant is to construct an additional industrial building as well as a employee housing on the property, all within one contiguous building. As you can see in the site plan, the proposed building is located at the end of the site, and the new proposed warehouse units are proposed on the right-hand side of the site. Now, the purpose of this variance is to reduce the eastern interior side yard setback from 5 meters to 0 meters to facilitate the construction of the proposed building on the right-hand side, or the eastern side of the site. The industrial zone requires both an internal and an external side yard setback of 5 meters. However, where the lot abuts another industrial zone property, one of the side yard setbacks may be reduced to 0 meters. And in considering the purpose of the variable setbacks within the industrial zone, staff anticipate that it was likely to allow for a drive aisle or for additional storage on the property. The eastern portion of this property does indeed abut another industrial zone. As you can see in the image, it's the lot with all the cars parked on it, and that property is being utilized up to the property line for this project. The site, as you can see in this next image, provides for an internal drive aisle, and I'll use the pointer so you can see what I mean. Sorry, wrong mouse. You can see that this is the eastern portion of the site. It's been turned for illustration purposes, and you can see the proposed 0 meter setback requirement on, or proposed 0 meter setback on that eastern portion of the property line to facilitate this building and to allow for an internal drive aisle. Now, this drive aisle starts off with a throat of approximately 18 meters between these two buildings and narrows down to accommodate parking for the proposed building, as well as turning radius to allow for turnaround, delivery truck turnaround for the warehouse units. The proposed dwelling unit is at the end of the site, and if you look in the next building, This is the proposed industrial building on the eastern portion of the site, and this is the dwelling unit located on the end of the building, adjoining the two industrial buildings on the site. And here we can see the wall that would be presented to the adjacent industrial property located to the east, as well as you can just see the roof line of the dwelling unit from that perspective. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Are there any questions? May I invite, oh, sorry, just a sec. May I invite anyone that's sitting in the gallery to come forward to the podium if they would like to talk about this?
Good evening, Your Worship, Councillor, staff. My name is Norman Goddard. I'm the architect for this project. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to address them.
All right, so do you not have any comments about, all right?
No. Thank you.
Thank you. I have one question, and the property that's to the, whatever direction it is, on the, where the cars are, is that property as well, it looks like it from what we see, is that also up to the 0.0?
Madam Mayor, there are no buildings on that portion. The setback is specifically to buildings.
Oh, I see, okay.
Yeah, specific for the placement of buildings on site. So this site has essentially covered the entire property on.
Right up to the property line.
As
Okay.
is normal on an
That's my
industrial type
question.
property. People use them for storage purposes
Yes.
where they have void spaces.
Right. Okay, any questions? Councillor Barkwell.
It says in the report, and you repeated as well, that where a lot abuts another lot in industrial zoning, the side setback may be reduced to 0 meters. So if that's in the zoning bylaw already, why does it have to come as a variance?
Because the building on the other side is at 2.36 meters. So it is legal non-conforming with respect to that setback, but when we consider this one coming forward and varying it to 0, it is appropriate to bring it forward to vary that lot line for new proposed buildings to meet the conditions of the bylaw.
And the rear setback, is it always 0 then? Because
That's compliant.
Do you have a question? Nope. We'll just wait for...
Madam Mayor, the rear yard setback within the M2 zone is 0 meters.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Van Alphen.
May I put motion on the floor?
Yes,
Madam
please.
Mayor? Thank you. Development variance permit DVP 19-008 to decrease the minimum interior side setback in a heavy industrial M2 zone from 5.0 meters to 0 meters to allow for construction of 4 additional industrial warehouse units at 9504 Alder Street, legal description as Lot 3, DL 2195, ODYD Plan 32419 be approved.
Thank you. Seconder? Councillor Barkwell? Any further discussion on this? Councillor Van Alphen?
Just a comment, if I may. Without the 0 clearance, what you would create is just a 5-meter area for debris and stuff to accumulate. This way, you're butting up to the adjacent property and you're utilizing the most potential of the property, and I'm sure the neighbor next door, I'm sure both neighbors are going to be very pleased with this development, you know, so the one doesn't have to look at the auto wrecker and vice versa, I guess, so anyways, I'm all for it.
Thank you. Councillor Patton.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. If I may, to our Manager of Development Services. I'm sorry, I can't read on the iPad. What is the diameter? Is it 12 meters, more than 12 meters for a fire truck turnaround?
That's an excellent question, Madam Mayor. I'll just see if I have that information. Madam Mayor, the turning diameter, as shown on the site plan that we have in our application attachments, indicates 17.98 meters as a turning diameter.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
I have one comment. I appreciate the, not only the effective use of land, as Councillor Van Elfen was saying, but especially when it's being used for worker housing. I think that's fabulous, that they can live right on site and have something that is, even though there's the parking spaces are there for employees and customers, it's great to have that dwelling unit right there. So I can appreciate that. All right, any more comments or discussion? I'll call the question. All those in favor? And none opposed, so that's carried. Item 11.3, Summerland Pickleball Club's request for 2019 bookings. I will refer this to the acting CAO.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So the Pickleball Club has come to the district asking for some additional time at the pickleball courts. Their membership has increased substantially over the previous years, and they're looking for an additional 4 hours per week. Last year, they did pay a nominal fee of $300, and that fee is being proposed to be increased by approximately 2% to $306. There is the intention of reviewing our fees and charges bylaw this year and reviewing that rate as well as we move forward. But if there are any questions, Lori Mullen is here, our recreational rec manager, who will be able to answer them.
Thank you. Any questions of our recreation manager? Councillor Holmes.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if it's been, this has been reviewed by the Parks and Rec Commission.
Through the mayor, we don't have a rec commission right now. We're actively recruiting membership for the new Parks and Rec Advisory Committee, so it hasn't been vetted through
So
an outside
it
body.
wasn't looked at before they disbanded?
No.
Any other questions? Councillor Carlson.
Just to confirm, the Pickleball Club is in agreement with this plan and they won't be coming back next meeting? Yes?
This was submitted by the
Excellent.
Summerland
Just want to
Pickleball
make
Club.
sure that we're all on the same page. I will move the motion 11.3 as presented. It's very long, I don't want to read it.
All right. So overall, 4 hours per week addition and a 2% increase in the fees. Do I have a seconder for the motion? Councillor Patton? Any further discussion? Councillor Holmes?
Just another question, really. Not only is the pickleball club okay with it, will pickleball players who aren't members of the pickleball club be okay with it? That's the issue we had last year, and I don't really want to have to go through all that again.
Public.
So just members of the public. Do we know?
Who are you directing that question to?
Through you to anybody who will take it.
Lori Mullen?
Sure. We had very little public concern with the allocations last year through my office. We did prior to coming to council last year, and we did a lot of discussion with the public. and through the Recreation Commission, and did a lot of vetting through that process. After the council approved last year's allocation, we had a few public concerned about what the pickleball club is all about and what is public pickleball times versus program time, so I did explain it, and it seemed to work out okay. We didn't have a lot of concerns come forward. There are a few people, but very small.
Thank you.
Actually, I probably got more hate mail on this than any other topic in my whole term last year. So I really, we really just got to make sure we're doing the right thing here, and we're doing right by people, and that people have the right to use public facilities that aren't without having to be members of a specific club. I think we need to recognize that, and I hope this accommodates them. So, we need to, I just hope we don't have to revisit it, so.
All right. I will call the question now. All those in favor? Any opposed? No? Okay, so that's carried. 11.4, again, over to you, Acting CAO.
I will pass this one directly on to Ms. Mullen to speak to.
Thank you. So the purpose of this report is to provide council a little bit of overview of the RFP process and to have some input and direction to staff on how to move forward. As the report indicates, an RFP was issued mid-March for the removal and replacement of 3 playgrounds at Memorial Park, Peach Orchard Beach, and Peach Orchard Campground. The requirements outlined in the RFP included 3 new playgrounds with creative and innovative structure and design, which promote imaginative and exciting play experiences for children, playgrounds which are safe, accessible, and inclusive for the identified age groups, maximized activity stations and play components within the stated budget, play structures that will withstand the seasonal elements in Summerland, proposals guaranteeing the equipment and installation shall adhere to CSA standards, a good warranty program, and the inclusion of the removal of existing equipment, installation of natural, non-rubberized surfacing fall material and edging, installation of new equipment, and all associated construction costs. In the end, the district only received 1 proposal, and we received 2 correspondence indicating from potential proponents that they were not going to submit a package because they did not feel there was enough budget to put in a comprehensive RFP. The submitted proposal is from Green Roots Play Equipment, and it does meet all the minimum basic requirements of the RFP and does fall within the allocated budget. The proposal indicates a project timeline once the contract is awarded to be 9 to 12 weeks for the completion of all 3 playgrounds. District staff are really hoping to get some really creative and innovative proposals and to be able to come back to council with some exciting ideas. So we were a little disappointed only to receive 1 proposal, but because it does provide the opportunity to replace the 3 old playgrounds with modern equipment, and it does have a variety of play features, and it will update the surfacing with industry standard engineered wood fiber, and it does stay within the budget. The staff recommendation is to proceed with awarding the contract. However, I really do appreciate council's input, and I posed several questions in the council report for you to consider, and we welcome the opportunity to go in a different direction if that's what council chooses. Thank you.
Councillor Barkwell.
So the RFP included the removal...
Please use your microphone, Councillor.
The RFP included the removal of the old equipment and scrapping it, or?
Yes, it does.
And so if we were to do that ourselves, that would probably leave a lot more money in the budget for the new equipment, I guess. That part would, because that would be a considerable cost to the proponent, wouldn't it? They'd have to pay our tipping fees and everything for...
I believe the tipping fees could be waived because it is a district project. I'd have to check on that. But the budget was increased previous year, so there was a smaller amount of allocation to these three projects. And a few years ago, it was bumped up to include extra funding so that the surfacing and the removal of equipment could be included. And that was due to the lack of internal resources available to do the work.
For the removal.
For the removal.
I believe our Director of Finance wants to speak to.
One other comment to make in regards to this is when we look at budgets for any capital project, be it a playground or a building tear down, those costs associated with the removal are always incorporated as part of the cost of the overall project. So if council was leaning towards not including those costs, they would still be incurred and would have to be taken into account somewhere, either operationally or somewhere else. But the way the district has budgeted for this project was to incorporate those costs into the overall capital project.
I'll come back to you, Councillor Barkwell, Councillor Carlson, and then Van Alphen.
I have lots of thoughts on this because, as you know, I have a child, and so most of my mornings are spent determining which is the best playground to visit on a certain day. And I've determined that downtown Summerland needs a better playground. I think that the presentation by Kimberly Burns today was extremely exciting, and I guess what I want to know is whether it would make more sense to press pause on Memorial Park and make a proper plan with the people who are interested in doing what in this proposal, this project they're putting forward, and to look at that as a whole playground instead of what might come forward tonight, and then add a few more pieces if they get some more funding. Because I appreciate that all the work has been done to bring this forward, but I want to know if there's the ability or time to do some more collaborating on Memorial Park, and if that was part of the conversation you've had with this group that is willing to work towards that.
Through the mayor, a couple of things. This particular proposal that's coming through Green Routes is for all three. So we would have to, if we wanted to award the contract, we would need to look at awarding all three, or the price point could change because they were considering that would be all inclusive. So just something to think about. Just found out about this opportunity last week after the report had been written, so it was very timely. So there was a couple of things that Kimberly and I discussed. If council was to choose to pause the RFP or to cancel it, and I'd be happy to meet with Kimberly and talk about her plans, and we could start from scratch and look at a new RFP in the future, or wait to see if we were successful. I did look up the grant just as we were speaking, just to see what their deadline was, and they would be announcing the three winners and the runner-up July 2nd. So that's the timing on that particular project. The other thing we talked about, if council chose to move forward with what's existing here and to implement the package for Memorial Park as is, Kimberly seemed to feel that it would be great to add additional features to that. It is a premier park, and with the development right next door, it's going to be a big hub of activity, and she felt that that project could add complementary features, play features. So it could go both ways.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Councillor Van Alphen, and then back to Barkwell, and then to Councillor Holmes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Question through to our Manager of Parks and Rec. You used the word excited. Is staff excited about this in the Parks and Rec department? Or are you disappointed we only got the one RFP response?
I would, through the mayor, I would say we were disappointed in not receiving more proposals. didn't really know what to expect, and you never know until you go out and see what the market will bear. So I guess we were disappointed in that. This provides basic equipment. It does serve the need to replace existing with quite similar features that are modern and upgraded and will have a longer life. We're getting close to the end of the life of the existing. So I don't know if I would use the word excited, but it's play equipment, so I get excited about all play equipment.
Thank you. And just another comment, if I may, again, it's not just Memorial that we're looking at. It's going to upgrade other parks in our community too. And this is basically, it's just plug and play, right? If a grant came available through the Rotary Club per se, it's just components that could be added or enhanced upon, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Councillor Barkwell? All right, Councillor Holmes. Then it's my turn.
Thank you. Just in the staff report, it indicates that the two proponents who didn't submit bids felt there wasn't enough budget to put together a good playground package. I was just wondering, did they indicate at all what they felt enough budget might be?
One of them just was very to the point, one sentence, so no. The other one was very detailed as far as various different options, and did indicate to put all three budget allocations, so a total of 150 or over 100 to invest in one feature park. Could be really cool, and you could do something really exciting in a real destination location.
Okay. And another one, if I may. Could you tell me what's in Peach Orchard Campground right now in terms of playground?
Yes, I can. It's a single structure double swing set with just two basic swings and a sandbox, which is basically some sand with a border on it.
Okay. And just follow up on, and I presume those are used mainly by people at the campground. I remember when my children were young, we used Peach Orchard Beach a lot, we used Memorial Park a lot, but I don't ever remember going to the campground.
It's not a destination location for our residents, I don't think.
Right, so it's mainly for the campers.
Correct.
Okay.
I have a few questions as well. First of all, although I appreciate the work that it takes to put together an RFP and receive proposals, I'm with Councillor Carlson. It's a little disappointing, not only in the feedback but in what I see, because I would like to have something kind of more innovative. I have a couple of questions, though. In your staff report, and I understand in the RFP, it asks for a non-rubberized surface. Why is that? I thought that made it more accessible to, children with all kinds of mobility.
Yeah, I did discuss that with the Public Works Department, and the recommendation against a rubberized surfacing is because it does get really hot in the summer, and being the climate that we're in can be a challenge. Also, because it's really hard to clean, so you spill something on it, it's a solid surface, and it gets sticky, and it's just, as far as maintenance and cleaning of the surface, was not desirable, and industry standard now is going towards engineered wood fiber, and that was what their recommendation was.
Okay, that's a perfect answer for that. I'm wondering if we were to cancel the RFP, could we separate the projects? Because I'm not sure who brought this up. It may have been Councillor Carlson again. I would really love to see, something quite interesting and outstanding in Memorial Park, in particular. Is that a possibility, or is it better, and maybe this is a question of our Corporate Officer, is it better to have the RFP like inclusive of all three areas?
No, we can definitely cancel an RFP and put out an RFP for each individual project. One of the reasons for doing it as one large project was, of course, the potential savings of having someone bid on three projects into one as opposed to three separate ones. But it could be done. From what I've heard from Lori is the main concern with the two proponents was the overall cost, or the budget. So if council was to go down that avenue and look at these projects as three separate projects, you may also then need to consider budget allocations as well.
Okay, so that was my next part of this discussion, so thank you for that, David. I'm also very interested in the work that Kimberly Burns and her small group have done in order to get this application forward, and I know that we will be putting in a letter of support. I'm also wondering, and I'm just throwing this out there, if some of our bonus gas tax money could be directed to this project. That's one thing for you to mull over. I'm not looking for an answer tonight, but that. And along those lines, I'm wondering if the Wharton Street development community amenity could be used for the Memorial Park, at least the Memorial Park redo of the structures. So just a couple of ideas. Like I said, I don't need an answer on those. I've spoken to C.O. Tynan about the community amenity before. But anyways, just throwing those ideas out. Councillor Barkwell.
Yeah, I'm not speaking from a position of knowledge like Councillors Aarons both are, but I certainly can support the concept of getting something really special at Memorial Park, especially with those 88 units going in across from the park, and they'll probably be largely occupied by families with children and such. So I just don't know what the best way we go about it. If we go ahead with this RFP, we could add to what the RFP has. And along with that question, if we do something different, it means it's not going to happen right away. So to our Director of Recreation or Manager of Recreation, what's life left in the facilities that we do have? And could we just add to them rather than have to take them away?
Add to existing?
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend adding to existing. I've checked because I wanted to make sure that there's no imminent safety concerns, and there isn't a risk right now. So we could delay without having any safety issues, but I wouldn't recommend adding to what's there right now. When we had a site meeting, and we had 3 proponents there looking at the equipment, and they were shocked to see what we had and how old it is. It's well over 20 years old. Yeah. But it is a possibility if that's what council chooses.
When my kids were there.
Councillor Carlson and then Van Alphen.
It's a good point. I remember playing on that stuff when I was in elementary school. And so, I think that it's a valuable thing to be upgraded, and I know we know the success of adding amenities for youth in this town. We've seen it just this last couple months. My question is, the equipment that is at Memorial Park, the swings and the more new facility, those, would they be movable? Like, can you deconstruct something like that and put it in a different place?
I don't know the answer to that, and we could find out.
So, okay, should I my idea?
just throw it out there, since I'm asking the question. So when I look at the structure that's proposed, it's very similar. I don't know if it's the same company, Henderson, that built those ones that or the one that's at Memorial, the one that's more modern for the toddlers. But down at Peach Orchard, there's nothing down there right now that is appropriate for really small children. And so my thought would be, if we're talking about doing something really exciting at Memorial, perhaps there's an opportunity to put in the right color, one of these ones that's been proposed with the 2 slides and the spider web and stuff at Peach Orchard. And then if we have some success getting the new facility up at Memorial, we can there's no swings down there. We could take swings down and take the smaller facility down, so that there's a complete set down at Peach Orchard, and then you have a completely new, unique thing up at Memorial Park. And that's just, I know there's no motion on the table or anything, but I just want to throw that out there as a thought to contemplate. Because then we could move forward on Peach Orchard, first step, and then if we were able to do the next step, we could add the other pieces later, if they were movable and matching.
Councillor Van Alphen?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I remember constructing those parks as a member of the Kinsman Club in Summerland, Peach Orchard, Memorial, Julia Street, and in conjunction with the Parks and Rec Department at the time. I don't know if it was quite 20 years ago.
It's going to be at least 20 years ago.
Thanks.
25 probably.
25, for sure. But I personally, I'd like to see us take the monies that we have allocated in the budget and invest it in Memorial Park. If other monies come along, that's awesome. But let's make one really good one right now, and we'll have this discussion again, I'm sure, in the near future in another budget season. But we could get the best bang for our buck today and put our money into Memorial. Like it's been said, there's 88 units going in across the street. The park is highly utilized. It's not just the concept of a park, having an ultimate playground there. We have an ultimate skateboard facility now. If we invest all these dollars into this one place, I think it really helps our local businesses downtown also, because moms with their toddlers or grandparents with their kids or what have you, may want to go get a drink or a cup of coffee or something like that. So it helps our local business. So let's concentrate on one location. And I agree with Councillor Carlson. If we can utilize some of this other equipment in another park area, such as the campground per se, recycle, reuse, then let's do so. But let's put our efforts into what the biggest bang for our buck. And if this other money does come along, it's just another added bonus. It would even be a better park. Yes. So I'd like to put a motion on the floor that we table this at this point in time. Or is that the appropriate motion? To have a further discussion on it, or?
Yeah, if in the council report, it does have a few options. And one of the questions, not in the options section, is to cancel the RFP and reconsider on how we want to proceed. And then there's a couple of examples. So I would think that could be a motion that you could bring forward. But I'd like to hear from Councillor Holmes first. He had a question as well.
I kind of agree with Councillor Barkwell. I don't know if it's better to go with what's being proposed here and have with the opportunity of adding on later, or if we should just, as Councillor Barkwell, or as Councillor Van Alphen was saying, whether we should just put all our eggs in one basket in Memorial Park. I don't know the life of the current structures, the life expectancy, when we might have to have those closed and everything. So I would be in favor of the option number 3 of delaying awarding the RFP and direct staff to come back with not necessarily more information, but on I think staff has heard what we've all had to say, and I think if they could come back with with some other suggestions, that's what I'd like to see.
Okay, so that is a little bit different from what Councillor Van Alphen was proposing. I'm wondering if we want to cancel the RFP and then to have the opportunity to discuss it, obviously with input from staff, at a committee of the whole. Does that sound reasonable? Councillor Holmes, I see you nodding.
I would just like to hear from staff of whether they think it would be better to cancel the FRP or delay it. Either way, I think we should refer it back to staff and have them come back to us with
Well, that's
further discussion.
what would be at the committee of the whole. We would have a fulsome discussion then.
But so whether we cancel it or delay it right now, that's what they don't know.
Do you want to speak to
Yeah,
that?
we, as staff, we could definitely delay it right now. I can't recall the exact details of the RFP, but normally with RFPs, there is a time option within them.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry, through the mayor, it is 60 days.
yeah, so it's 60 days. So within that 60 days, staff could definitely come back with a report to council at the committee of the whole meeting, looking at different options and have a more fulsome discussion.
Councillor Van Alphen.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just with that thought, I believe that we should cancel the RFP because it's not really fair. There was other companies, one said they weren't interested, one gave a long explanation why they weren't interested. But if we're going to delay it and not include them, let's say, you know, should we restart the process is what I'm saying, so everyone would have, there might be other companies out there that all of a sudden see that we want to invest $150,000 into one facility that they may want to come forward with a proposal. I don't, like, it's just throwing it out there because this one company, they're looking at $150,000 for 3 separate entities, so to speak.
So if that was the decision of council, once the committee of the whole meeting was had, was to instead of looking at the 3 parks and combining them into one, the RFP then would be canceled. We would reissue an RFP, and all of the other proponents that didn't submit would have the ability to then submit on the new RFP.
Thank you for that clarification.
And just to add to that, it would give council the opportunity, if they wanted to move forward with what's existing, we could award it after that meeting. But if we were to look at doing anything different or splitting it up or going in any other directions, then we would be looking to cancel it. So it gives you the option.
Okay. So then to delay the RFP, could I have someone bring forward a resolution that reflects that? Councillor Van Alphen?
I would believe number 3 would reflect that, Madam Mayor.
Delay awarding the RFP and direct staff to come back with more information, and then we will have it scheduled for a committee of the whole, so we can have a good discussion. That sounds good to me. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Patton? Any further discussion on this? Councillor Barkwell?
One thing that I noted in the discussion, and was, and I'm not 100% sure about this, was that in Peach Orchard Beach, there isn't anything appropriate for the very young set. And so whatever, further suggestions staff have, I think that it should include that so that the whole age range can have the opportunity down there.
Keep that thought, and we can talk about it at the committee of the whole. All right, I'm going to call the question then. All those in favor? And I don't see any opposed, so that carries. Okay, thank you, Council. On to 11.5, second alternate council member representative on RDOS board. And I believe you're going to speak to this, Jeremy?
Say a few things. It's pretty straightforward. On May 9th and 10th of this year, the RDOS board is having an important meeting and legislative workshop. Unfortunately, the 2 members of council who would be attending that are unavailable. So
This is a resolution, if council wishes, to appoint an alternate director to attend these and any other future ones where these two can't attend. It has been suggested that Councillor Barkwell, if available, be the second alternate.
I'll move that
You
motion.
agreed to that,
I'll move
right?
that motion if it's been made, that Councillor Bark will be appointed.
I'll be happy to second it, Madam Mayor.
All right. Jump right in, councillors. May I ask Councillor Barkwell if you're able to attend May 9th and 10th?
I'm available May 9th and 10th.
Fabulous. Okay, I appreciate that very much because both Councillor Traynor and myself are unavailable. We're both away. And Councillor Holmes, you will ably represent us as well, right? Okay, good. Okay, so could I have somebody very quickly before he changes his mind bring forward
Been
this?
brought forward.
Okay, and seconded by Councillor Van Elfen. And also note that the appointment as alternate director, just like the other directors, to the Regional District Okanagan-Similkameen Board will be considered again in November of this year. Okay? Just in line with the other appointments. So I will call the question. All those in favor? Excellent. Approved. The Sunday Rotary Market, 11.6. CAO?
I'll have Mr. Deniger speak to this.
I can't believe it's been 5 years, but this is year 5 of the Summerland Rotary Sunday Market. It is a license of occupation that council has granted to the Rotary every year since 2015, requesting a few blocks downtown to hold a market, which keeps growing in size and success. And as you heard at the beginning from Paul and Rock, they're requesting that council consider directing staff to work with them to see if it's possible to change the layout of the Rotary as well as simply issuing a license of occupation again for 2019, but that issued area be slightly different. It has been circulated to all departments. There's no fundamental concerns with how the market is operating or where this proposal may be, other than one concern regarding traffic control, because Victoria Road North is a collector road. It is used by large commercial vehicles, and we don't want a large commercial vehicle getting stuck downtown in front of a market and not having a way out safely. So that is something that will have to be discussed between staff and the market to find out if it's possible to do necessary signage to keep things safe. Though it is a Sunday, there's probably not a lot of commercial vehicles. I have seen one just last Sunday driving down that road, so we have to take that into account.
Thank you. Councillor Van Elfen.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. If I may at this time, I'd like to excuse myself from this discussion as I may have a perceived conflict.
Right, thank you. Thanks for doing that. Councillor Carlson.
Yes, it's just it's more of a comment than a question. Should I save it? No, I'm going to put it out. Large commercial vehicles driving through Summerland on a Sunday in the prime market season, July and August, very likely. There are multiple packing houses in this community that custom pack cherries and peaches and other things, and large 53-foot reefer trucks do frequent not only our roundabouts and ovalabouts, but also Victoria Road. So I would put a huge caution there, because I don't think that we want to end up with a 53-foot semi stuck at our intersection or having to back out, especially if it's going to be busy for a market. So just something that is critical, and it also, it'll affect farmers, and this whole thing is about a farmer's market, so thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Carlson. Councillor Barkwell.
When I first looked at this, I really had I don't know, almost a pit in my stomach thinking, well, Victoria Road, like, that's a through road, north-south. How the heck can we block that off without howls of protest? And then I look at it and think about it again, and really, although they are through, anybody coming down from North Victoria is coming to the town area to go to the town, probably not to go down to well, maybe to the golf course, and anybody coming from the South Victoria north is probably not wanting to carry through, so I'm less concerned. Now you've brought new concerns about big trucks. Are they necessarily going through, or are they just going to the various parts of town on their own course? Do we have any answers to that?
It says in the report that, under the financial implications, that at this time they have not received a detailed traffic management plan. I'm wondering if that is something that we're expecting from the Rotary Club, or?
Yes, it is
Who
a
does-
requirement
yes.
of the
Okay.
road closure permit. So
Okay.
preliminary discussions have started, and we'll hopefully be meeting very soon to go over any details that are required. Local traffic's not an issue. If a vehicle's coming downtown to deliver something to a business downtown, it'll be routed locally, and the layout that's showing on the map there, which is the first attachment, you can see there's many little routes there for smaller vehicles. The concern is the very large trailer trucks and those sorts of vehicles that simply can't make turns, and they'll need signage far enough out from town
Yeah.
to actually get around.
Like the oval about, and if
Yeah,
they're coming
and
from that
through safe
direction.
paths.
Right. Okay, Councillor Carlson.
I want to add to that, the majority of the people who do haul fruit, they're really good at what they do, and they pay attention and they can follow instructions and signs. However, there are those that are not good at all at what they do, and they will end up causing a lot of problems, which we should try to alleviate. And I don't know how you do that. You know, you can talk to the people at the packing houses, for example, but there's only so much communication that can be given to these truck drivers sometimes. So, some awesome, some not so awesome.
Well, again, I think that when the discussions continue on the traffic management plan, that will provide some answers anyways to that. Councillor Holmes.
Yes, thank you. I have some concerns. I don't know if anybody can address them or not, but I'll put them out. So I don't know what the merchants on the Main Street part that will be losing the market think of this proposal. We have the petition from the Victoria Road businesses in support, but we don't know what those businesses who will be losing their markets stalls in front think. I'm concerned that we're going to be splitting Main Street into two ends, kind of a privileged end that gets it the markets, and the more deprived end that doesn't get the benefit of the market. I think we need to look at Main Street as a whole. We're not, if we're talking that the market is expanding, and then it might make sense to expand down Victoria, but we're not talking about expanding, we're talking about taking away from one and giving it to another. I don't necessarily think that's the right way to go about it. I also have a concern that Victoria Road is much narrower than Main Street, and we know that there's a lot of pedestrian traffic on Sunday in the market, and it can get quite congested already, and having those market stalls squished in along Victoria, and it'll end up like Penticton's Market, which I don't think was what we want. I think one of the attractions of Summerland's Market is you can actually go there and breathe. So these are concerns I have. I'd also like to know what the Chamber of Commerce thinks about the proposal, because they have an interest in all this, and it's never come to the Chamber of Commerce board. So I have all these kind of questions, which I don't know if can be answered.
Can you answer any of those?
I haven't received that
Concerns?
information as part of the proposal. There's the option.
Yes.
Paul, if you may have the answer, if council all agrees.
Mr. Barber, do you have anything to add to the questions, or able to answer anything of Councillor Holmes's questions?
Yes. When we look at the one block on Main Street, which is from the Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce to the former Bank of Montreal. There's only one merchant that, in the last couple of years, that has remained open, and that is a secondhand and antique store. And so one of our goals, of course, just to start the market was to try and help the merchants downtown. And but they're the only merchant in that block that is taking advantage of that for a variety of reasons. And so we were just entertaining the idea of North Victoria Road, mostly because of the interest on the behalf of the merchants. That's what we're responding to. I've had a chance to walk North Victoria Road with our Fire Chief Glenn Noble, and he's very satisfied that he'll have more than the 6 meters necessary for emergency vehicles to go down the center. And so he's indicated that he's pleased with that. We walked that together a few weeks ago.
Any chance you've spoken with the chamber or talked to them about this proposed change?
No, I didn't talk to the chamber, even though they have worked with us in the past. And I guess the reason is I wasn't sure why I needed to. I mean, it doesn't affect them at all. It affects the people who are merchants that are on the street, and that's why we provided the survey for those businesses that traditionally are open on Sunday to see if they wanted to participate and they wouldn't be offended by not having parking in front of their stores and so on.
Right. Okay, thank you very much, Paul. So any other questions of Jeremy? Okay, could I ask someone to bring forward a motion, please? Councillor Barkwell.
I'll bring the motion forward as presented in the agenda. It's rather long, I won't read the whole thing. I'll speak to it once, if somebody seconds it.
Okay, do we have a seconder? Councillor Patton. Thank you.
Good, yeah.
Yes, please.
So, I think everybody thought of the issue of which merchants might benefit, which merchants might lose out by moving it, and I think, as pointed out, that the greater good would be for Victoria Road North, rather than the one or maybe two locations that would be open on the second block of Main Street. So that part doesn't concern me. And then the other part of it, it's like, we were here first. Is that the only reason, when the greater number could benefit? And the other part is, I think that this doesn't have to be a final decision. We can try it. We can try it for a year, we can try it for 2 months. If there's huge problems, then we can revisit the layout.
Councillor Patton?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I agree with Councillor Barkwell. I like the layout, and I think that we have enough alternate routes in the downtown area that with signage, I don't think we'll have an issue of on Sunday mornings of somebody wanting to go down Victoria Road North. I think that this layout will work well, and I kind of like actually only going from Henry instead of going all the way to Kelly. I think this will give them a little bit more room for adding some vendors, and I think that this is a great way to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Carlson and then Holmes.
Yeah, I'll just note that the last part of the motion is that if traffic control requirements of the proposed layout can be met at no significant cost to the district, the license of occupation for Sunday market be modified accordingly. But in the report, it suggests that we'll need quadruple the signage than what is, and we don't actually own that much signage. So not only is it the signage, but it's also the putting it out every Sunday morning and taking it down. I'm just wondering, through that part of the process, what is a significant cost to the district, and who is responsible for putting out and removing the signage every week? Because I can support it, but I also want to make sure that we're not adding another huge layer of cost and work to people who maybe aren't supposed to be, or shouldn't be working on a Sunday morning.
Again, if I could refer you to the financial implications, it says if Summerland Rotary cannot pay for the signage, then it would be unsafe to proceed with the proposed layout.
Will
So I
they
think
put the
that
signage
answers-
out in the morning and take it in too, or is that district over time? Like, I'm just wondering if we know, if there's a plan between the Rotary and the district to move all of those signs around.
Chris, do you know if the district staff currently put out signs for the
I don't
Sunday
believe
market?
we do.
I don't think so.
No, traditionally, it's Rotary that does all of that work. We get there at 7 o'clock in the morning, and everything's out, and all the signs are out, and all the barricades are up.
Thank you, Linda.
Yeah.
Thank you. Councillor Holmes?
Yeah, Councillor Barkle suggested we could try it for a year, and if we didn't like it, we could revert back. But my understanding is that once we pass a road closure, whatever you call it, license, that's it. It doesn't come back to council. So how can, what is our opportunity for trying it for a year? And if it's not working, that council can take its decision back.
Jeremy?
Just going to clarify, that in this particular instance, unlike some other things, we're doing it as an annual license of occupation, and the map showing the area is modified as need be from year to year, as it has actually been modified before. But we can work into that license of occupation any conditions we wanted to. We could say that it's conditional upon success following 2 months, and it would be reviewed by council at that point, if that's something you even want a short time span. But because of the way it's been done, it is an annual license of occupation, which is independent of the road closure permit.
Okay.
Thank you.
But it doesn't come back to council.
It does. The license of occupation comes back every year, every year since 2015.
Every year it has. Yep,
Every year since 2015.
Councillor
I just
Carlson?
want to add, I think that the opportunity for parking as well is enhanced on Victoria, at least parking for people that don't want to walk more than 2 minutes. So that could be a bonus as well.
All right. Any further discussion? I'm all in favor of giving it a go for a year and seeing how it works out. I'm pleased to see that the work was done getting signatures on the petition from the Victoria Road North people. And that's all I have to say about it. I think it's there's good reasons for this proposal coming forward to us, and I say, well, go for it. But let's see what everyone else in council thinks. I will call the question. All those in favor? And opposed? Councillor Holm is opposed. Marty, you may come back into the room. So that is carried. All right, 11.7, Kelly Avenue Road Improvements and Morton Street Storm Sewer Extension, acting CAO.
I'll have Mr. Johnson, our Director of Works and Utilities, speak to this.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This report was just to bring forward 2 items around the upcoming Kelly and Wharton site development. They were discussed during the budget deliberations for the capital plan for 2019. So just to go through them, the one was the sidewalk on Kelly Avenue. There was discussions around should sidewalk be on both sides of that roadway, or should we look at only having it on the development side, on the east side? During the discussions, there was reference to the recently approved sidewalk master plan, which following that meeting, we referred back to, and it didn't show sidewalk on the park side, so it only showed sidewalk on one side, so that's a consideration that we wanted to highlight and bring back to council before we decide and confirm with the developer which projects we're moving forward with. The total cost of that, including the sidewalk on the west side, would be $265,000. We could have $240,000 in the budget, so if council wished to include that sidewalk, there would be an additional $25,000 that would be required. If that is removed, there would be a $20,000 surplus on that line item for the budget. With regards to this storm sewer on Wharton, the discussion at the time was that extension of that sewer beyond where the developer needed to connect is where we wanted to stop and not look at extending that any further. The one item that we failed to mention and bring to council's attention was oversizing of the main that is required to be installed from the existing stub near the roundabout to the site. Oversizing of that pipe, staff feel should be considered, and it wasn't highlighted and brought forward as a separate item, so that has been done in this report, and it would be $65,000 to oversize that pipe from 250 millimeters to 750. And that is something that we would like council to provide direction on if that should be included into the capital budget through an amendment.
Questions of Councillor Barkwell?
If only $45,000 was for the sidewalk on the east side of Kelly Avenue there, the park side, what's the other $220,000? How is that used?
That's for the entire reconstruction of the west half of the road. Through the development, they're only required to improve the road frontage to Centerline. And so as part of this, the district, we brought forward reconstructing the west side of the road as well, so that full width of Kelly Avenue was reconstructed when this project was done.
They dug up and replaced with better base and new pavement and everything?
Full sub-base, new asphalt, curb and gutter.
Any other questions? I have a question. I'm just a little bit confused. So we're talking about the sidewalk on the east side, so next to the development?
That's required to be installed as far as the frontage improvements, correct?
Right, okay, and so there's an amount here under the financial implications, and then I'm wondering if the 250 to 750 millimeter oversizing of the extension, that is an additional $65,000, and that's where we'll have to look at some additional funding?
Yeah, that project wasn't identified in the capital plan following council's discussion about not including the extension of the storm sewer down Wharton any further.
Right.
So it was an item that was missed at that time to bring forward as a separate item to oversize the main that is required to be installed, which is highlighted on the attached map of the report.
And the 250 to 750, what's the reasoning behind that?
At some point, that main is going to need to be extended further into the downtown, through to Victoria and up to Jubilee, out to Cartwright. So if you're installing that pipe so that we're not ripping that pipe up in 10, 20 years to put in a larger pipe, the sizing is correct up to the point that it has been installed, and then it can just be extended further.
So it's anticipation of future need. Okay, perfect. Councillor Carlson?
Will there be some proper pedestrian crosswalks with signage and perhaps even lights going between the east sidewalk and the park? Is that something that's been considered for safe access and pathways?
On Kelly?
On Kelly, yeah.
Yeah, there would be a crosswalk at the north end and south end.
Because right now there isn't. Right now there isn't, right? There used to be when there was a facility there. But, okay, just want to make sure that if we don't put a safe crosswalk on the west side, people who want to use, a sidewalk, people that want to use a sidewalk could still use the east side and feel safe walking across the road. So that, I'm comfortable if there's proper crosswalks.
Yep.
And they can always walk on the grass, too.
Some people can't, though.
Yeah, that's right, mobility. Okay, any other questions? Could I have somebody bring, Councillor Barkwell.
Related to that, do you remember I think it's there, the The other side, I guess you would call it the north boundary of Memorial Park there. Is there any sort of a schedule for putting a sidewalk along that stretch, that side of the park?
It is identified in the sidewalk master plan, and I believe it is in our 10-year, or our 5-year capital plan as well. I just don't recall what year.
Before I have to come up for election again? Yeah.
So in the 5-year plan that was passed, what's it called? It would be Warden Street sidewalk extension.
To Kelly?
Yep, Kelly to Victoria.
So, design in 2021, construction in 2022.
Sorry, Councillor Barkwell.
No, as long as it's
Design.
Thank you.
That's great, thank you, that's a great question. Councillor Holmes.
Well, just to comment on that, hopefully we'll have a downtown master plan before we worry about these sort of things, and who knows, with that, we might just decide to turn Warden Street into a big parking lot or something. Because we have to figure out what to do with that street. One way or another.
Center. Okay. Now, will someone bring this forward, get it on the floor, please? Councillor Carlson?
I'll move 11.7 as presented.
Okay, so the 65 will come from the Capital Works Reserve. Great. Okay, seconder? Councillor Patton? Any further discussion? All those in favor? And none opposed. Right. Item 12, information items. Is there anything in the correspondence that someone would like to bring forward? Just to identify.
Just
Councillor
a note,
Carlson.
I was looking at flights from Penticton to Vancouver for May 9th, 10th weekend. $177 one way, and this was just like, and it's 2 weeks, still 3 weeks away. So I think that they're going to find a problem, and they're going to start, I don't know. I'm not sure why it's so expensive, but
This is
it's
Air
an issue.
Canada?
Yeah. So Penticton, Vancouver is going to continue to be a problem, and I hope that it can be solved.
Well, not for May 1st, apparently. That's what, Artie West, we heard that, right? Yeah. Anything else? Okay, could I have someone bring forward their recommendation, please? Councillor Van Elfen and seconded by Councillor Holmes. All those in favor? Excellent. Okay, on to, no committee commission minutes. So councillor report, starting with Councillor Barkwell.
No, nothing to report.
Alrighty. Councillor Patton?
Nothing to report.
Councillor Holmes?
Nothing to report.
Councillor Carlson?
I've been really busy, but I don't remember why. So nothing to report.
And Councillor Van Elfen?
Nothing to report, Madam Mayor, thank you.
Well, you make me feel bad. I blabbered on for some time. On to item 14. I do not see any media public. Janet or Marianne, do you have anything you'd like to add? Okay, thank you. I will ask for someone to bring forward the motion to adjourn. Councillor Carlson and and Holmes, and all in favor? Great, thank you.